All right, we are live. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Been a couple of days. How are you? Hopefully, you enjoyed your 4th of July weekend and everybody had a great time and a safe time. My name is Chris, and of course, you know this channel. We love comics, where we're all about doing unboxings. And I got two of them here that I would like to share with you. I bought these a little while ago. And if you've been watching my videos, you know I literally have hundreds of boxes that have never been opened. Some that have been literally there before I moved to Florida from New York. But it always saves me the opportunity in case I don't have new content. I do, well, I've been trying to get some new comics, but one person, I was actually going to buy a personal grail. And after two best offers, which was pretty close to what they wanted, and not responding, and four emails with all respect, not responding. It seems I'm not going to be acquiring that book, which is kind of disappointing. But I mean, what am I supposed to do if a person's not going to respond to anybody's purchases? So nothing I could do about that. But I was basically like at the end, I was respectful, but I was like, you know, are you selling these? Because it seems like I'm almost begging to give you my money. And again, I was only maybe 10% off of what their asking price was. But, you cannot control what other people do. You can only control what you do. Tried to make a deal today, didn't happen. These are the breaks. That's life. You can't win all the time. So while I'm waiting for people to come in, I got two unboxings I'm going to do for you guys. One you've seen multiple times. This other one, I don't think I've ever owned this one before. One that you might want to look after, and that one I'll do first. But before I do that, we are getting closer and closer each time to the 20. We are at right now 12, which is where we've been consistently for the past week or so. But we're closer to 20 than further away to doing giveaways. Once I get 20 paid members, there will be some giveaways that I'll show you in a second. You could pause it when I get to that screen, so I'm not going to read everything, but you pretty much know the deal. But for any paid member, you can get your name shouted out in every single video I do. If you have a specific like Facebook account or YouTube account you want me to share instead of just your first name, no problem with that. Just contact me and we'll get that done. So let's say hi to Carl, Sith, Scott, Michael B, Kevin W, James R, Herbert R, Dan L, Kim N, Annabelle N. And then if you have Facebook, which I'm sure many of you do, check out Darth Bleak at Stephen L. Turk, author. He has written one book and he's about to finish a second book. So if you'd like to know about that, and Darth Bleak, if you get the chance, in the comment section of this video, tell everybody a little bit about what your book is about, because if it's comic related, for example, that might interest a few people. So let people know what your book is about. And then last but not least, we got Silver Age Surfer underscore comics. So if you're on Instagram, go check out Silver Age Surfer underscore comics and tell them we love comics sent you. Same thing with Darth Bleak at Stephen L. Turk, author, on Facebook. Tell them we love comics sent you. I'm sure they'll appreciate it. So again, if we get up to 20 paid members every month that we have at least 20, there's going to be giveaways starting with a tier 1 unopened baseball pack. I've shown in previous videos what they are. Once we get to that level, I'll show them again. But if we get past that, there's higher tiers. There is no minimum to enter. PayPal, the minimum to join Patreon for anyone is $2. So my requirement is the bare minimum, but you'll get one entry for every $2 you apply to your monthly Patreon account with me. So if you do $10 a month, you'll get 5 entries. But like I said, minimum requirements to be able to get the contest. I don't want people to spend extra, especially if they can't, just to enter a contest. So I want to make sure I give that away. So check that out. And also, I'm looking to acquire some grails. Almost achieved one, but for some reason, like I said, the eBay seller just refused to respond after about 4 days of contacting. I mean, I waited each day. It's not like I flooded them with like spam or anything. It's just the person, for some reason, didn't want to accept the offers, didn't even respond to them. I mean, no counter or no denial, just flat out didn't respond. And after several messages, I basically just gave up on it. But I'm looking for an Amazing Fantasy 15, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles #1, first print, and all the others you see here. I could have acquired one of the ones you see on the screen, but that eBayer, for some reason, listed a book they really don't seem to want to sell. I don't understand it. But if you know anybody that has any of those books and actually does know how to communicate and would respond to an email, contact me at peacefulfeelings@yahoo.com. I'm willing to trade almost anything in my collection. I have a video I did about 2 weeks ago showing some of the graded books I'd be willing to trade, but anything that you've seen in a video or, on the shelves, including the toys and collectibles, other collectibles, you can ask about, and if we can get a trade happening, I'll make it done. So the worst I can say is no, that particular item you mentioned is not available for the trade. But if it's worth it for me and it's a fair trade for both parties, I will at least consider it. You're saving money this way. If you don't have money like me to spend $8,000, $9,000 on a book, trades are a great way to go. You also don't have to worry about hundreds of dollars in taxes for books like these that you see on the screen. You're talking probably anywhere from $300 to $500 in taxes and above. And you don't have to worry about April 15th reporting to the government to take more taxes out of your trades because trades are non-taxable. So contact me at peacefulfeelings@yahoo.com. Let's say hello to the people in the live chat. If you want to join the live chat, that would be awesome. We got Brian Norman, good to see you. We got Poing333, one of the newer members I see on my YouTube channel. Yes, had a comment the other day. Always good to see you. He says, finally got a yeah, for the stream. YouTube is famous for not giving notifications. Unless there's some huge YouTuber, they don't seem to care about us little guys. But I'm glad you finally got one and glad you're here in the live chat. And we also got Mike Oliver. He says, Chris, I made a very rarely mistake via live stream because of work, but big fan. Oh, look up, look up Petrol Head low print run image comic option for a movie. I may have told you this before. I believe in helping you out. Actually, I don't think you've ever told me, but you're telling me now. I'll look into it. Petrol Head, I've never heard of it before, so I have a feeling even if it gets a movie, um, I mean, unless you could find it in a dollar bin, I don't see retiring on a book like that. But hey, if you could buy something for $1 and sell it for 20, money's money. If you bought a dollar lottery ticket and you won $20, I'm sure you'd be happy. So to me, it's not always making thousands and thousands. Profits are profits. So for everybody listening, look up Petrol Head, and it's a image comic. Mike, if you want to put any more details about the book, what year it came out and things like that. So just in case if there's multiple, different, you know, reprints of it or anything like that, or if you have a link that you want to put to one of the comics, it's going to help people out. So Mike says they have a website, The Creators. Well, there you go. So if you're watching this video, go check that out. And if you could find a deal, it's always worthy to take a chance. So without further ado, let's make this so you can actually see me. So let's unbox the first one. One's in an actual box. This one's just in a regular, comic book mailer. I always tell people when you buy, especially on places like eBay, never assume that a seller knows or cares how to mail properly. So I always suggest on how I'd like them mailed. It doesn't always guarantee that it will happen, but hey, this person could have ended up, they were going to maybe send it with a manila envelope. We've all gotten those in our lifetime. And maybe the message actually upgraded it to this. So it never hurts to communicate with a seller. A lot of them do listen, and there are some that actually do appreciate that. Now, this has to do with an upcoming movie, and they haven't mentioned this character being in it, but I would be shocked if they do not introduce this character. This, to me, is a comic you can get pretty darn cheap that I think has some great potential. And if it doesn't happen, you're not spending an arm and a leg to get it. So it looks like it's got some, like, I can't say water stains, but it's got some rippling, but a pressing and dry cleaning can fix that. Other than that, it looks pretty good. It does have a color breaking crease on the corner, so it won't be a 9/8 or anything. but even if it got a 9, I'd be happy. This is a book I highly recommend people getting now, and I'll explain it in a second. So this is Secret Wars 2, issue number 1. This is the first appearance of the Beyonder. Now this one, and we're going to check, because you guys, if you've been watching my channel, you pretty much know what this is going to be at this point. Not only is it a newsstand variant, all right, it is in there. It's complete. We got a Mark Julis variant. Now, if you get a Mark Julis variant, make sure it has a first whole page and a second whole page with the coupon, because some of these can be either written on or cut out. But this looks to be, okay, this I did know about. It does have a tear there. So obviously pressing can't fix that. So this is probably, I remember this because it's been a little while since I bought it. It does have some non-color breaking creases. So with that, that's probably going to bring it down to about a 6 to a 6.5 after a pressing. Now, when you have tears like that, you want to be very careful when you place the comic back in so you don't make it worse. Well, this, ladies and gentlemen, is the first appearance of the Beyonder. Now, we do know that there is going to be a Secret Wars movie. Now, if you know about Secret Wars, and when I was a kid, I read all of these. Been a while since I've read them. The Beyonder is the character that gets all of those heroes and villains to fight each other. Now, remember, when it comes to the MCU and comic book movies, sometimes they'll change origins or situations or characters, so there is no guarantee. But I really would be shocked if they did not have the Beyonder like in the comics. But again, this is a book that you're not going to spend thousands of dollars on. Now, I wouldn't recommend getting the regular version of this. I mean, unless you find it in a dollar bin. You want to get at least a newsstand, or if you can find one of these Mark Jewelers, absolutely, because remember, ladies and gentlemen, Mark Jewelers are going to be between 5 and 7% of a total print run. So when you're talking what would not be a rare comic in the regular version, the newsstand's going to make it rarer, but not rare. And the same, it's going to make it even more rare with the Mark Julis variant, especially if everything's intact. And of course, the higher the grade, the better. But if you can get your hands on a Mark Julis variant of this book, or a newsstand variant, or like I said, again, the regular issue, if you can find it in the dollar bin, first appearance of the Beyonder, if that happens in the movie, this book is gonna, you're not gonna end up selling this for $10,000 or anything. But I paid, and let's do this, because I like to do this with the people that are in the live chat. We like to do what I call audience participation. Put in the comment section if you know where that reference is from. Knowing the situation, if you saw this book, what would be the maximum you would have paid for it and felt comfortable with it? So if you're watching this live, put in the comment section what would be the highest you would pay for this book and feel comfortable with it. So again, it's Secret Wars number 2, issue number 1. It is a newsstand Mark Julis variant, so it's a rarer of the book. First appearance of the Beyonder, with the potential of the Beyonder being in the Secret Wars movie. Again, nothing is guaranteed until it happens. So if you're watching this later on and not live, if you want to put in the comment section what you would have paid for it, you could pause the video. But if you want to put how much you would have put in there, I'm going to tell you what I paid. With shipping and handling, I paid a grand total for this book, $13.38. So under $15, yes, it's not going to be a 9.8, and yes, it's probably going to be between a 6.5, maybe a 7.5, because again, there is a tear on the back, but it's not major. It's not like it goes halfway up the book or anything, but that is going to reduce the grade. There is some rippling up here, but as you can see, there's no staining. So maybe this was in an attic or a basement and it warped, but a pressing and dry cleaning could fix that. I think first appearance of a character that is known, that's in a big series, that could potentially be in a movie with a Mark Julis variant for under $15, to me, it's a no-brainer. If he doesn't end up in the movie, I didn't lose an arm and a leg in that book. I can afford to lose $13.38 if it doesn't happen. And at the absolute worst, I'm sure I could turn around if nothing else happened, sell this for 15, $20 and still make money. So the good thing about when it comes to tangible assets and physical assets like comics or any other collectible, they're not going to go to zero. Stocks can go to zero. These are things you have to be careful of. So that's the first one. Let's get to the main one. And anybody kind enough to hit the like button, that is awesome. Make sure you're in the live chat because I always do a surprise subscriber shout out at the end. Now, of course, you do not have to be a subscriber to get that shout out because to be all truthful, I'm not going to verify anyway. I'll take somebody's word for it. But if you want to hit subscribe, that'd be awesome. So let's get into this. This is a book I have multiple copies of. For me, this is a no-brainer. Puts in a thank you for your purchase. And let's get off the personal information so I can show you the receipt so you can see that I never make up prices. So they put some bubble wrap. They did put some extra pieces of protection in a box. So if anybody wants to guess what they think this is, if they know me, I have multiple copies of this book. And it's one that, for me, is a no-brainer. There is a movie about to come out, and I think it's going to be a good movie. And I really think that this is going to, if it ends up being as good a movie as everybody thinks it's going to be from all the trailers and everything we've seen, yeah, the price might go down a little bit afterwards, but if it is so popular that it gains a lot of people into this character, or people that have really, like me, stopped going to the movies for comic book movies in the past year or so and gets them back into it, um, to me, this is a no-brainer that I think in the long term, this is an investment. Now, of course, it always depends on the price you pay. This one was actually an auction, so I'm very surprised I won it for the price I won it for. Now, it's not a steal, but this is a higher grade book according to what they say. And what it looks to be is it's probably going to be a 9.2 and up because there is a minor color break increase at the very bottom, like barely towards the edge. So I know this one's going to be a 9.8, but still, even if it's a 9.2, 9.4, I'm happy with this. So you've seen these before. This is a newsstand variant. It is not a Mark Jewelers variant. I would have never have gotten it for the price I got it for if it was a Mark Jewelers. But you know what? I'm going to double check just to make sure. It doesn't feel heavy, so I doubt it's in there. Because you never know. Somebody might have not checked. So never assume. So, okay. So it is just a regular newsstand variant. But still, newsstand variants are going to be much rarer than the regular counterpart. Now, it does have a non-color breaking indent, which means somebody probably stacked these flat. It does have a color breaking crease at the top here. I don't know if you'll be able to see it. That goes diagonally across. And like I said, on the bottom, right towards the very tip, there is a color breaking crease. So it's probably going to be, after a pressing, about between an 8 and a 9. I'd probably say about an 8.5. How much would you have paid, the maximum you would have paid for a newsstand variant? Remember, newsstand variants are definitely going to be rarer, not rare, but rarer than the regular version. So I know, this is not the regular version. When it came out, had about between 750 and about 850,000 copies. In the grand scheme of things, that's not a lot, especially back then. Today, it seems like a lot because the average book is probably 300 to 350,000 for a top-notch book that's coming out. But look at the stuff, for the most part, that's coming out. Most people aren't buying it anymore. That's why the print runs have gone down. Um, they're definitely not going to compare to like the first appearance of Deadpool. And again, with a newsstand variant, to me, this was a no-brainer. So if you want to mention in the comments section, if you're watching this later or live right now, what you would have maximum spent for this book, again, probably between like between an 8 and 9, let's just say in that area. I won this at $261. So with shipping and tax, came out to $288.58. To me, for a newsstand variant of that book, under $300, to me, I think is a no-brainer. Now, it would have been awesome if I would have opened it up and it would have ended up being a Mark Jewelers without the person knowing about it, but that is not the case. And you can usually tell because these regular comics, when they have the Mark Jewelers variant, because it's almost like a cardboardish kind of paper, you could feel the thickness and a little bit heavier um, feeling of the comic book. I didn't get that when I picked that up, so I pretty much knew, but it's better to check just to make sure. So those are the books. Again, this is absolutely a book I take the chance on. This is Secret Wars, the second series, Secret Wars 2, issue number 1, first appearance of the Beyonder. This is not only a newsstand, but it is a Mark Julius variant. I did open that up for $13.38, and that's after shipping and handling and taxes. And then the one I just showed, New Mutants 98. This is probably my 12th copy, which is good for trades and selling because I'll still own them. To get this one for that price, I think is pretty good deal. Point 33 says, personally, I'd pay around 200, mostly because it probably go down after the movie. Like I said, it'll probably go down after the movie, not much, but that doesn't always guarantee. Because if the movie if it makes over $1 billion, and it has such a positive buzz, and people are very excited about it, and it ends up being what we're all hoping it could be, that might create enough buzz to, instead of it going down, maybe stay stagnant and could potentially go up. So be very careful. Just because a movie is over does not instantly guarantee that the second a movie comes out, that all books all of a sudden drop off the face of the earth. Now, deals can happen regardless, but I would be very careful when it comes to, again, not rare books, but rarer books. So even though you said you would have paid about 200, I don't believe I'm that far off. But remember, this was an auction. So it's based on what other people were willing to pay. And I bought this, I think it was late at night. So there were already people willing to pay at least that much. So when it comes to, yeah, I want to pay 200, well, if you would have bid 200 on this book, you would have lost. Now, that doesn't mean you can't find another one, but always be careful about missing out on opportunities. And again, just because books may dip and usually dip after a movie, it doesn't guarantee, one, it will happen, and two, it will happen for very long if the movie ends up being incredibly successful. And to me, with how bad movies and TV shows have been for the past arguably 2 to 3 years, it can vary, but I'm talking to the point where they're unwatchable. If this ends up turning everything around because it's the exact opposite of that and is basically a breath of fresh air, this could revitalize the comic book industry, the comic book community, the movie community, and the superhero genre. So be very careful about the norms because I think in this situation, it might be an exception to the rule. So I trust my instincts. All I could say is trust yours. No one is ever wrong, but hey, sometimes it's like gambling. Sometimes you take a chance going all in, and sometimes you could lose. And sometimes you could say, I'm going to play it safe and just bet the bare minimum, and you could have won it all. So be very careful what people assume to become a regularity. And just because something's happened 500 different times doesn't mean that's the case. So be very careful. So again, even if that's the case and it goes down a little bit, that book is not going down to $100. And if it goes down, it's going to go temporarily. Now remember, you only lose money or make money if you sell a book. I've seen many a people that'll get, for example, the first appearance of Shuri, and at one point it was like a $2,000 book and a 9.8. Good luck getting that book now for about trying to sell it for 200. So even if a person said they bought that book cover price and it was at 2000 at one point, if they didn't sell it and it's now down to about 150, yeah, they'll still make profit, but they lost a heck of amount of profit by waiting. So you do have to be careful about that. So point 333 says, I hope the movie makes the value double, but I'm timid with my money and comics at this point. I don't blame you. With the history of the not only MCU but DCU and any comic book genre movie or TV show in the past few years, I can 100% understand that hesitation. But as they say, the early bird gets the worm. So what I would say is don't use negativity, which being timid is a negative aspect. Don't allow that to dictate your ability to see ahead of what most people don't see. I've had many people, when I show a book, would say they would have never paid the price or they would never get it, ultimately for me to turn around and make mad amounts of profit on it, where I can turn around and buy a bigger book and end up doing better deals. So you always have to be careful. Yeah, and Who Dat Comics and Movies, good to see you, my friend. Says, remember selling my first Shuri for 800. I guarantee you, you're very happy you did it because no one's buying that book for 800 now. So a comic like first appearance of Deadpool is not going to be like a one and done character or like, for example, Shuri. Nobody really cared about her. The only reason she got that movie is because of Chadwick. I think his name is Chadwick Bowen. Forgive me if I mispronounce it, but the actor that played Black Panther unfortunately passed away, and he did so well. Anybody trying to replace him would have damaged it, and to end up just doing what the comics and the TV shows have been doing for the past since probably 2015 or so, putting everything female. People are pretty much, for the most part, tired of it. But when you're talking Deadpool, they're staying true to the character. They allowed it to become, even though it's a Disney movie, they allowed it to become a rated R. The trailers are looking very promising, and I think this could be a turnaround, at least for this character. So I would be agreement in most comics when people say, well, a movie's coming out, expect the drop to happen. And you probably see big drops, especially if it's something like Black Panther 2. What happened to Submar or whatever, however they pronounced it was just ridiculous. Namor. And what they did with Shuri and everything. Yeah, I could see big dips. I and this is my opinion, I could be wrong. I do not see that happening with Deadpool. Because if they screwed up Deadpool and they made it like any of the movies they've had in the past 2 or 3 years, or like a She-Hulk TV show, if they did that to Deadpool, I guarantee you half the community would walk away and probably never come back. So I think with with even Disney's blind DEI loyalty nonsense, I think even they realize we can't mess this character up. And I think they're going in full force, allowing the freedom to make the movie the way it should be, with, I'm sure, Disney throwing in a little bit of sprinkle of DEI here and there, but not enough for people to say, I don't want to watch this garbage. I think this is the exception to the rule. And like I said, if this makes, in my opinion, if it makes $1 billion, which I think it could, there's going to be many people coming back to comic book movies with a new sense of vigor. And I don't see, even if it goes down, I don't see it going down a lot. And in fact, I really think it's going to probably stay where the level's at and maybe rise because you're going to get a lot of people that might come back in. So when it comes to this particular character with this movie, I would say this is the exception to the rule that I would normally agree with when it comes to wait until after a movie and watch the price go down. I just don't see that happening. But again, deals can always be made. I've shown this on my channel. I mean, just watch the videos I've made this year alone. The deals that I've gotten. I mean, I bought it. I'll give you an example. I bought this Raw, got it graded, came back a 3.5. This, of course, is Fantastic Four 52, first appearance of Black Panther. with shipping and handling, I paid $71 for that book. I didn't buy that 10 years ago. I didn't buy that 15 years ago. I bought that this year. Somebody listed it as a best offer, I think for like $65. So with after taxes and I think it was free shipping, but I don't remember. I paid $71. So deals are always out there. But that's the exception, not the rule. So again, believe what you want, go with what you want, but I would highly recommend sticking with positive energies instead of the negative ones, because negativity will always hold you back and guarantee the success of failing. So if you want to be successful, there are two ways you could be successful. You could be successful by succeeding, or you could be a success at failing. So regardless of it, if you think of it from a natural state, you are always successful. You get to choose. Do you want to be successful from successes and positive things in your life? Or do you want to be successful at failing? Either way, you have unlimited ability to be successful. It's your choice to dictate what direction that success goes. Do you want to be as successful at succeeding or being successful at failing? Either way, you are successful. And when you change the language and you see it in a way that you may not have participated or anticipated or ever thought of before, you realize, because I've always said in my videos, you need realize to realize you can create the power that you want by changing the narrative. So if you want to be, you're successful regardless. Pick which version of those two I said that you want to be successful in and go from there. So with that being said, let me know in the comment section what you thought. Let's go with our surprise subscriber shoutouts. Point 333, you have to be one of my surprise subscriber shoutouts because I've never seen you in the live chat before. And as usual, Brian Norman, who is watching from work. What a shocker. And now also Mike Oliver because of work. Everybody's watching during work. I'm flattered. But both of you are today's surprise subscriber shout out. Let me see really quick. Who Dat in Comics says Jackman was only coming back because it was going to be rated R. Well, that and also he gets to work with one of his best friends. So, I mean, there's multiple reasons. And plus, let's not kid each other. I'm sure a large amount of money is also persuasive. I mean, how many actors have said they're done with a role and then come back? So money is a factor. They'll never mention that. And I know it's not the only factor, but I doubt he would have done it for $100 and a Twinkie. So there's a lot of different factors, but yes, rated R definitely helps. He's always wanted to be in a Marvel movie, but then again, like I said, everybody says what they want you to hear. It ultimately comes down to it's a job. They want to get paid, and if they get paid well enough, people will do things that even once they said they would never do. Remember, Patrick Stewart said he was done playing that character too. How many movies has he been in since then? So let's keep that in mind. He also says, I can wait to Secret Wars rumors. We getting a male Black Panther back? Yes. Very happy about that. And who that says, have a good one, WLC. Same to you, good sir. Go check out his content if you haven't had the opportunity to. He does make great stuff. He just had a situation with an X-Men book that I won't spoil here. You'd have to go to his channel to watch, but it ends up with a happy ending, so good to see that. Now, the people that were picked as the surprise subscriber shoutouts, if you're not aware of the situation, let me describe it, but let me put on the thumbnail, so if anybody wants to critique it, they can put that in the comment section, either positive or negative. I'll leave that up to you. But a surprise subscriber shout out means that when this video uploads, you could put a link in the comment section to either if you have a YouTube channel, if you have a social network, or if you sell anything on Amazon or eBay or any of those places where you have a store. I'll let you decide which link you would like to use. It does not have to be comic book related, but that will be the one that works the best. I recommend if you're going to leave a link, please just don't leave a link. Mention who you are. Tell people if they click the link where it's going to take them to. It does have to be appropriate for all ages, whatever the content is or whatever you're selling. I'm not going to promote somebody selling, adult toys. I'm not going to promote pranking channels or anything that's negative. So as long as it's something positive and for all audiences, I will absolutely share it. Keep in mind, all links will not be seen until I approve them, so they'll go directly to spam. This way I can verify to keep any trolls or any spammers out there from putting inappropriate links onto my channel. So if you browse the comment section, and I hope you do, because the more you guys comment, the more it helps my channel get more people, to know it's out there. That means I did approve it. So go check them out, and let's show some support and show some real community in this comic book community. So again, these are the shout outs to our Patreon members. Join me at patreon.com/we love comics if you want your name shouted out here. And again, if you prefer to be listed as, like, for example, Silver Age Surfer _ comics for Instagram, or with Facebook with Stephen L. Turk author, just let me know, no problem. Now, the person who has the highest contribution on the Patreon account will always be mentioned last. I'll never tell the amount because that's between you and I don't give out people's personal information. But if you want to inquire that because you want to be listed last, let me know and I'll be happy to tell you. So let's give our shout outs a shout out. Let me know what you think about the comics. Don't forget, we are 8 people away from starting to give out the contest. So if you want to join my Patreon, once I get to 20 paid members, you can get one of those every month, a giveaway to one of our participants. One entry for every $2 you apply to your We Love Comics Patreon account. And if you have any of these books or know anybody that has any of these books on the screen and you want to make a trade, contact me at peacefulfeelings@yahoo.com. So that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. Thank you to all that were watching, all the people participating in the live chat. If you hit the thumbs down or thumbs up, thank you so much. And don't forget, ladies and gentlemen, it is not you, it is not I, it is We Love Comics. Thanks for watching, everybody. I will see you next